Solo leveling episode 12, and this is the last episode of the first season. And yes, the first season, because it has been confirmed that there's going to be a second season, which I mean that is exciting alone to find out in this episode. Although to be fair, it was not announced in this episode, it was actually announced, I guess you can say, externally. You have to find that out externally because yeah, it wasn't actually mentioned in the episode. But just that alone, like I said, it's already hype enough to make this review, you know, I don't know how to describe it, very exciting, at least for me making it, because yeah. So yeah, the last episode of the first season, what did we saw in this episode? Well, we actually saw what happened in the last episode, which was basically Song Jin-Woo fighting for his life. We actually saw him, well, in the verge of death. I actually thought that was not going to happen. I actually thought that, you know, maybe yeah, he was going to struggle a little bit, but at the end of it, he was going to, you know, get over it. He was actually going to win, I guess you can say, without necessarily being on the verge of death. But as we saw in this episode, that was not the case because he actually had to go to the penalty zone in order for him to survive. It actually took that for him to survive, because if not for that, he was probably going to die. Well, right there, he even saw some images, apparitions, I don't know how you can call it, of himself, of other people, because yeah, I mean, he was having very negative feelings. He was in the verge of death. So when he was in that state, I mean, he was basically throwing the towel, or maybe not necessarily that extreme, but I mean, he was almost on the verge of giving up. So yeah, but when we saw, or when he saw that he was going to be transported to the penalty zone, then he suddenly got his motivation back. He was ready for it. He was motivated again to basically battle again. And yeah, we see that after he returned from the penalty zone, he was, you know, very confident in himself. I mean, I guess it also helps that, you know, he recovered his stamina, his health, because if not for that, it wouldn't matter that he, you know, got to the penalty zone and then came back, because that wouldn't matter at all if he hadn't got his stamina and also HP back. So yeah, and yeah, we actually saw that he leveled up a lot in this episode. I don't know what he's leveled at right now, maybe 51, 52, somewhere around that. At the beginning, I think it was shown that he was a level 50, or I should say 47, but then in this same episode, we saw him level up a couple of times, so maybe in the 50, somewhere around that, or maybe higher. But I guess the biggest thing that we saw in this episode was actually his job. We have been speculating, or at least me, I've been wondering what his job was going to be. I didn't know if he had a job or if he didn't, but again, we actually saw in this episode that he didn't actually have a job, and in this episode he acquired it. And the job that he acquired was actually very strange, very weird. I was not expecting that job at all. I'm only an anime watcher, so I wasn't actually expecting that job. And the job was actually a necromancer, or the very beginning was the necromancer, because we actually saw him, you know, develop his job again. So yeah, that to me came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting that at all. So yeah, that was actually a pleasant surprise, at least to me. I don't know about you all. Maybe for people that have read the source material, this is not much of a surprise, but yeah, at least for me it was. So we actually see him doubting if he should actually obtain this job or not, because we all know that he's really not that type of person. I mean, he's really a hand-to-hand combat person, so to him it didn't actually make sense to get this ability. And yeah, we see him, you know, doubting a little bit, but at the end of it, we see that he actually got it. And because of that, we actually see him, I guess you can say, recruit some, well, I don't know how you can call it, some ghosts, some deaths, army, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, he basically recruited a couple of them, but more than that, he actually recruited the Night Eagles, you know, the tough knight that we saw in the last episode, I think it was, that was actually battling hand to hand, you know, Song Jin-Woo. Well, he actually recruited that knight, and that was actually pretty amazing, because as we all know, that knight is actually very strong. The only reason why Song Jin-Woo, you know, won in the last episode was because it was basically a fluke, if we're going to call it something. It was a fluke. It wasn't actually, you know, that Song Jin-Woo was smarter, you know, Igris, or that he was stronger or faster or anything like that. No, it was just simply a fluke. Even Song Jin-Woo admitted that himself. So yeah, and to see him again recruit the Night Igris in this episode, that tells us a lot about how strong he has become. Because one thing is his levels, and another thing now is having, you know, someone he has to fight alongside him. So that makes him a lot stronger than he appears to be. Because again, one thing is his level. Yeah, he might be level 50 or somewhere around that, but now that he has some people around him, yeah, he's definitely way stronger. And I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm actually glad that he actually got this job, because that will make things really interesting going forward. At least I think that is going to happen. But yeah, that was basically everything that happened in the last episode of this first season. A really enjoyable episode. I think this is going to be received very well. And yeah, that was basically the most important thing that happened in the episode. There was other stuff, like for example, that thing in Jeju Island, and you know, the monsters evolving and things like that. But because I'm only an anime watcher, I don't know what exactly is happening there. I think we'll have to wait for season 2 to find that out. That was all the most important thing. It was primarily focused around Jin-Woo, and I guess you can say his adventures in surviving in this dungeon. So yeah, I don't know when the second season is going to be, you know, aired. I don't think at this point in time when I'm recording this, it has been announced the airing date, but I mean, at the very least, knowing that there is a second season is very exciting. Although I think we all knew that there was probably going to be a second season even before the announcement, but just having confirmation is a big surprise and good news for all of us. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed my last episode review. I hope you all enjoyed the anime like I did, and yeah, that was everything by me.